Push mo yan sa top, pre.
Double kill! Radiant's top tower is under attack!
Dapat kita inuutusan dyan!
The battle begins!
A few minutes later.
Much like cordwood before Axe's axe, Dire's top tower is under attacks!
The rune of haste.
The prize is mine.
Behold, my searing blade. Bonus!
Gago!
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is
Dire's middle tower is under attack!
Shadows take us.
What for?
Middle is missing! Radiant's middle tower is under attack!
Rune of haste.
What is Topias thinking?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack! Dire's bottom tower is taking many wounds!
That's okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack!
To fight base. That's where we have to fight. Okay.
Dire's middle tower is under attack!
Silence.
Double kill!
None may stop me.
Very fucking nice, boys.
Dominate!
Ally.
Chained in searing heat.
Fortune's changed.
The red mist spreads at Radiant's middle tower!
crazy.
Yeah, but this is awful for them. There's nice in their fan.
Keep farming.
Yeah, I should.
Dire's middle tower is not what it used to be. That is for certain. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Axe wishing for you instead.
Failed the veil.
Discover what lies
Shadow.
beyond.
Ayos, ha?
Has come to Radiant's bottom tower.
Speedy rune
Let's go.
of haste.
Team ban.
I'm doing great. You know, we already had a first day running through. We're here in day 2 of the groups. 3 more best of 2s lined up. First matchup, Team God versus SMG. Should be an interesting one. We did see Team God yesterday. They didn't have the best showing, and this was a team that went the distance in Season 1. You know, we saw them go all the way. They've had a bit of a roster change. I say a bit. They've changed a lot of players. So they've lost the 2 players from 496. They've got Zeal, Unknown, Madmaid, Ray, and Yamate. I believe we have 2 subs today, though, so we're not seeing the full lineup once more, but it's been a rocky start, and I think we've really got to see whether or not Team God can kind of improve themselves going down the line here in the group stage.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Yeah, they're looking good. Their performance has been consistently on the up and up, as he said, and it's really good to see, because the first time we saw SMG a few months back now, it felt like it was really rocky. Now they're definitely looking like one of the scarier teams in C. So we'll have to see if they can bring that A performance here up against Team God. You can't really take them casually. You know, you can't take any of these games casually. You want to put yourself up there in the groups. So we'll just have to see if SMG plays to that standard.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
I think I prefer to keep her for the light more. It's very consistent in mid. It's very easy to just hit 6k by 10 minutes, maybe even more. You're never going to slow down and farm. You're always going to have impact. You have a really great early game spike, early to mid game. So it's just a very stable way of lining up your draft. And I think the Kotl just kind of secures it. It also has more flex. Sure, it's usually mid, but if it has somehow gets a bad matchup, which I don't think it does, you can kind of flex it around still. And it just leads to more flexibility down the line. Team God, they do take the Shadow Demon to kind of go with that Night Stalker. Gives them some stacking potential here. Good control, good follow-up sort of hold for them now as well. And they've got a nice way of building up in the jungle, getting their economy going for themselves. I love that SMG did go into the Shaker. This hero has been sort of left by the wayside the past half year almost, right? Like we rarely see Shaker coming through after the Ag Shard nerf, and now it's on the up and up again. Still a great team fight, still a great control. You can block the wave, you can build up, and you just hit blink timing, then you've got really fantastic team fight. There's some decent chakra combinations for the Kotl as well, With the Enchant Totem, you could kind of play with that with lower cooldown Fissure as well if you want to prioritize it. So you get a lot of utility here from SMG with the Keeper of Light and the Shaker.
Remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Radiant team pick.
Yep.
Ten seconds remaining.
Fits in
5
with that
seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Demon combination with Illusions. We don't see that prioritized too much with Lunas, but you have a Shadow Demon, you might as well. The stacks will build up as we mentioned. And one thing that could make that a bit awkward is if you play with Illusion spam, you've got the Shaker to somewhat counter it in a way, but it doesn't feel like that's really the be-all and all up against Illusion strats as long as you micro red. So it's give and take. Team God do go into the Invoker instead. So they've got this solid enough combination early on if they do want to go for Exort Invoker, which we've seen a couple of teams do before. You can kind of play with Sunstrike and Disruption. You can play aggressive early on. Mid lane matchup, again, up against the Keeper of the Light in mid. They're probably not going to completely zone out a Coddle. He can just stand back, Chakra, Illuminate, play with his camps as well. It's not going to be starved out. But as long as the Invoker kind of dodges out that damage, you should still be able to get some steady buildup. Could be a bit awkward. I think the Coddle timings are a lot quicker than Invoker. Although, Invoker, if you do go for the early Urn build, there's some early impact there.
Vengeful spirit.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the spikes from SMG are a lot quicker. They've got very early power spikes just from levels. Like, Undying, Shaker. Sure, the Shaker might need a blink, but even just having the threat of Echo Slam after getting the chain stuns up is pretty strong. The Venge is a very safe core to play around on the offlane or safe. We have seen it in kind of both roles. Fate Beyond really on LGD kind of making it look amazing, but there's a lot Team God has to be a bit weary of. It'll work if you play it fast. They go with a Clockwork pick instead, so they're locking in their support duo. Shadow Demon, Clockwork. I mean, Clockwork against Earthshaker is something you love to point out. If you isolate the Shaker, he's not going to be able to get his enchant off. He's not going to be able to get his fissure off. So you've got a nice way of kind of playing around with that. The lanes are pretty all right as well. Running a pause 4 clock, let's say, with a Night Stalker can be aggressive. And a pause 5 Clockwork as well can kind of work with any safe laner for the most part. So it's fairly open. It gives you some decent power spikes by your level 6 here from Team God. And it still kind of ties into potential Sunstrike plays if the Invoker wants to go that route. But I don't know if this is going to be enough against what SMG has. Like, you already have a sort of an answer with Venge with swap, so anyone that does get hooked in, you can kind of just swap out the Clockwork or swap out the hero, save them, have them cast their spells, and still pull off the teamfight combos anyway. I think SMG is just looking very secure with these first 4 heroes picked up.
Yeah, it feels like the clockwork might be to try and catch out the coddle this game, because you can kind of just lock down the coddle, and we've seen with these core keeper of the lights, they don't really want to go for something like a 4-staff or a utility item. They generally want the 3 null talisman into the boots of travel, into the Dagon build up. So maybe the clockwork kind of setting up to catch the coddle, and maybe if you go the Sunstrike route or the Invoker, you can kind of just blow him up. But yeah, I do agree. I mean, there's already the counter there with the Venge. Can make it very hard to actually lock anyone down. And quite frankly, Clockwork hasn't felt amazing this meta. Not yet anyway. I mean, there is certainly some value for Team God with this Clockwork, but I just don't think it's quite enough. I wouldn't personally say this is a great Clockwork game if it was me playing, but these guys are professionals, John. They're actually good players, so I'm sure they've got a much better plan than I would going into this series. I'm very curious to see what they do end up strategizing here with this clock to try and make it work. I mean, it definitely has some potential. Maybe super early game you could abuse the battery assault cogs and the Sunstrike, but that's if you even go down the Sunstrike option. Like, they might just go Quaswex instead and try to play that kind of control invoker style that we're more used to seeing. Still, a couple bands out to go before we get to see how these drafts are completed. Metas are always really interesting because you can never really point out who's playing core. Right? Like, it seems like Team SMG, if this was a month ago, they'd have 4 supports right now, and you'd have no idea what's going on. So it's a very interesting kind of meta at the moment. Ironically enough, these 4 support heroes that would have been supports 4 months ago look stronger than what Team God have right now in their draft. So it's just hard to know who's coming out stronger with these drafts at SMG. All right, they're going to run a PA. So it does look like it's probably going to be the POS 5 Undying, the POS 3 Venge. I like it. I think it fits. I don't think there's much in the way of countering the PA right now. And the Team God, it looks like they might struggle with this game.
Yeah, it still plays in with its early timing for SMG. Like, the PA can play a bit faster, especially if you, say, skip your battle free, go for a fast Desolator. With a Venge, with a minus armor on hand, you can melt these heroes, and you can just kind of run up and do what you want. Team God, they close out with the Slark, which does give them some faster pacing here. It gives them a very solid core to kind of build around, hit maybe a level 6 spike plus an item, maybe the Diffusal or Mage Slayer, depending on what Unknown would want, and you can kind of play around with that. Slark against PA can still work out. You can kind of just get a Silver Edge if you really need a way of breaking that evasion. You don't necessarily need the MKB, and Silver Edge buildup is relatively easier now, so Slark should be able to kind of match that timing on the PA. It does look like we will have our mid 1 PA, KP Venge, so it is the support Undying, as you mentioned, and of course the Keeper of the Light in the mid. I think for Team God, they've really got to watch this early game timing. Maybe not from the PA, but the other 4 heroes will be online relatively quick, and they will look to pressure with their spells. They will look to really start pushing down lanes, taking some early team fights. Whereas for Team God, Slark's going to need at least 1 item. Your Invoker's going to need either his Urn, or if he's going for the long game, Midas and Ags, which is super slow. And I think it's an issue of timing. Like, SMG's power spikes just look a lot sharper because they have these heroes that just naturally were run as supports before. And when you're a support here, you only need levels. So
how do you deal with this Phantom Assassin? Like, you're probably going to go down the Silver Edge route anyway, so you might just have the break option to try and rely on that. But even then, it just doesn't feel amazing. So I'm very curious to see how they really deal with mid 1 of this PA this game. And while there is value on the Slark, I just don't know if it's enough to really make it stand out as a great position 1 this game. Nevertheless, we're going to get into that game and find out very, very soon. Game 1 between Team God and Team SMG. John, I'll ask you the question, even though I think I already have the answer. Which stuff do you prefer more?
SMG, I think they're playing to the strengths of this meta. They're picking the heroes that have been popping off. They're playing with a really quick timing, with the Cobble, with the Undying and Shaker supports, with the Venge on the offlane. They can just play super fast. They can just look to take this game, at least maybe start sieging high ground by 20-25 minutes in. For the side of Team God, they do have good timings. Like, Night Stalker 6 is pretty good. Even the first 5 minutes for Night Stalker, once you have level 4 up with Hunter in the Night, can apply pressure up against that PA. Maybe look for a mid lane rotation, start playing around different objectives there. There are some nice spikes to hit. it's just not as fast as SMG. Like, the 6 spikes are there. Like, Demonic Purge is great, Dark Ascension's great, Hookshot's amazing. It just doesn't feel like it compares to the presence of Tombstone leveled up, to the presence of Decay Spam coming through with Chakra on top, to Max Illuminate with the damage coming through from that. And I think it's down to Team God having to hold against that storm, whereas SMG just has to hit level 6 on 4 heroes, and then they can play from there.
It's going to be very careful that mid lane. You already see the items he's queued up, John. It's that standard 3 nulls, boots of travel, and right into the Dagon afterwards. Pretty standard stuff here for the mid Coddle. Such a broken hero right now. I couldn't believe in the most recent patch, the small patch we saw, Coddle didn't really receive a nerf. I could not believe that.
Yeah.
I really couldn't.
I was kind of disheartened seeing the Helm slightly nerfed as well. Like, I was seeing initially, you know, everyone was gravitating towards that Helm of the Overlord. Everyone's playing around with the Chen, with the Ancient Creeps, with the Aura changes, and now it's gone. You don't see it as much. Instead, we get this. We get the Coddle. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Beastmaster mid. Right? It was the same story. You go in, you play with the Axis, you just clear the creep wave and win from there. You can see Moon already in a Coddle, just clearing out the range creep. He's having a good time harassing. Our Invoker is doing a good job of dodging out the initial casts, but he's not going to wave clear in the same way, and you're just going to see Moon kind of take over for the first few levels.
Yeah, I can genuinely say, John, I think this is infinitely worse than Beastmaster mid was. I mean, this hero is just not fair. The wave clear, the fact that you can farm the side camps, the charge time of the Illuminate now being only 3 seconds at max channel, it's too much. Nevertheless, we'll have a look at the other lanes and we'll see what Moon does with this hero. Of course, mid 1 and Rogi up the top lane against Zeal and Dali. Right now, it does feel like neither side really going to go too hard on the harass. Of course, Rogi would like to get a little bit more aggressive on this Undying, but levels up first, maybe a couple points in Soul Rip before you really get too invested. And of course, for mid 1 and Zeal, I mean, they're just interested in farming right now. Neither one really wants to commit too hard. I suppose if Rogi can set up with some nice decays, maybe Zeal might go down. And in fact, right now, they'll get started. They've got another dagger back up very, very soon, but the Fairy Fires do come in. Rogi, he is still committed though, but Zeal, he's going to pick up the first blood on the Night Stalker.
Thank you.
You got to be careful. You don't want to give too much gold over to Zeal right now. It's already rough to start with the Night Stalker during the daytime. Giving a first blood over, definitely going to feel very good for this NS.
Yeah, slight issue of commitment there. Mid-1 just decided to change targets. He didn't fully commit, and he did go for level 2 Blur just to protect himself more, not opting for the Phantom Strike. So the aggression couldn't quite line up, and could have gone either way. I think if the PA kept chasing, you might have seen Zeal fall first, but there was obviously a threat of Darli with those stacks up in the Shadow Poison. I think that's what held mid 1 off, and now there's this massive wave coming in for Zeal, a lot of EXP flowing towards the Night Stalker. Definitely a very good start for Team God, despite going against the Undying. Raji's now just forced to try to pull the wave back, trying to equalize the lane once more, but you're already getting something out here. You know, once you hit that 5-minute mark with first nighttime, it's going to feel even better for Zeal.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have a look at that last lane as well. Bot lane, Arthur and KP going to be against Unknown on that Slark. And of course, you've got Ray there. That Clockwork. Ray, not really able to do too much quite yet on the clock, but at least he has hit level 2. He is holding on to the skill point though, not really knowing whether he wants to go for the Rocket Flare or the Cogs build up. Generally, you go Rocket Flare if you want to commit to stacking more on your side of things, because it does allow you to stack 2 camps at once, but he's going to level up the Cogs now and does get a 2-man Cogs off. The only problem is it's not going to lead to much. It's just going to make sure Unknown does remain safe and doesn't take too much harass. But it is a rather difficult lane here for Ray on the clock. There's really not much he can do right now. Top lane looks like Zeal is going to get jumped again. But is going to remain safe, and they do salve him up. But back down to the bot lane, John, as I was saying, I don't think Ray can do much here on this Clockwork. It is a very kind of passive lane for him right now.
Yeah, I think you've hit some good spikes here in SMG. You've got this very early soul ring up in Afu, so you can just keep spamming his spells out. You can keep spamming the fissure to harass out Unknown. Unknown's farm is going relatively slow, 12-1, especially compared to mid one at 17-2 on the PA. So they're doing a great job here in SMG, just zoning out the Slark, preventing that farm from coming out. They're getting their leveled spikes, and this is a scary thing. Once you hit some of those higher levels, even by level 5, this lane just becomes infinitely harder for the Slark. For him, he has to wait for 6, and even then, there's enough AoE coming out from SMG that you're not fully protected on the Slark, even with that level 6 ultimate up.
No, you're certainly not. Ray, catch a break here. He's going to start roaming into that dire triangle, see if he can find himself something, and he's going to get lucky with a bounty rune. So you're getting some value here. Unfortunately, though, while you were doing that, Unknown's taking a hell of a lot of damage. Meanwhile, though, at the top lane, they did get Dali, but they're going to lose Roger again. So Roger, he does at least secure the kill before he does drop. Unable to find a kill thus far, but he's farming okay on the PA. Not too badly. And it does remain as a 2-1 right now between the two teams. Not really too much going on so far in really any lane.
Yeah, I think the standout lane is, again, the Coddle lane. You can see how far ahead Moon is, 48-1. He's at level 6. You can't stop this guy. He's just going to keep farming up. He's already got his triple nulls, just saving up for the Dagons next, more than likely. It is the first nighttime, so Zeal has more presence up against mid one, but mid one does have a slight level lead, and with a Ring of Health, you should feel a bit more protected, so it's not going to be too bad for the PA. We already see our Shadow Demon going out to kind of build up stacks. Darley just trying to get some economy going. He's looking to clear out one stack for himself to at least get some starting items, but that does leave the Night Stalker slightly vulnerable, and even with first nighttime, you can't really do too much by yourself. Zeal's just gonna have to be slightly cautious a little.
You bring 11 in, mid one, he's going to drop so darn quick, and now they've got the disruption out. They've caught Roger. They're getting right after this Undying. He hasn't really got the best way out for himself. I think Zeal might just commit for this kill, and with the Shadow Poison stacks, you're going to have more than enough. I really like the way that Team God's playing this right now. Nice cheeky kind of rotation out from our Invoker. Earlier than you'd expect, but with the Urn, you definitely want to try and get a little bit active if you can. And, you know, you take advantage while you can, before this Coddle gets online and starts doing Coddle things.
Just ganking probably the weakest lane for SMG. Managed to get a pivotal kill, stalling out that Battle Fury timing on mid one. And as long as you kind of slow that PA, you feel good. You see Ray chasing down Afu.
Yeah, this is pretty much the only impact he can have right now, the Clockwork. Problem is, Moon is going to intercept and the Illuminate with a nice blinding light. Going to connect, and now Ray, he's in big trouble. Giving the kill away to Moon. The greatest of news here for Team God. That's going to get him a step closer now to that Boots of Travel.
Man, it's just so sad when you play against Coddle and you see him have an Arcane Rune. Well, what can you do about that? You can't do much. You know, Moon just spams away the spells, never runs out of mana, and Coddle, such a good year right now. Is taking complete control of the mid lane. He is going to hit that spike. Travel, it's just about 20 gold off, and he's going to have that presence up. He's just going to build up into damage. Outside of the top lane, SMG is just doing great in pretty much every lane. Like the bot lane still lining up for KP. They've kept the Slark down. I take issue with the Slark versus PA matchup in terms of farm buildup. Unknown's just not going to farm at the same pace as a PA, especially once the Battle Fury's up. Before that, you do have better camp clearing with Dark Pact. So, Unknown might be able to hit these early spikes with, say, the Echo Saber, would say the Silver Edge if you want to go that route. But for now, we're not seeing that farm build up, and KP's already got his helm up. So you can just pressure the lane with the dominated creep and just look to push and kind of just zone out the Slark anyway.
Yeah, this is the way KP loves to play. He loves his helm with the Dominators. Enjoys the micro, and Fu is going to come in. They do land the magic missile, but Unknown already pouncing away, so they can't really capitalize. Meanwhile, top lane, however, mid one going to be chased down. EMP does barely land at mid one. He lost a lot of HP, but Arfu's going to TP in, and Rogi is going to soul rip to keep mid one safe, so Zeal is going to keep going in anyway. But Rogi, he's eventually going to die. Nice pick up there from Dali. Moon, though, he got Ray in the mid lane again on the Keeper. And while all this is happening, he's pushing in that mid tier 1 tower. So Arfu, he might drop, but you are losing objectives here. As Team God, I don't know if this is great for them. They're finding support kills, which is all good and well, but You lose that mid tier 1 tower. Look at Moon. He just keeps going after Ray, who's just trying to defend this tier 1 mid tower, but there's not really much he can do.
No, there's really nothing you can do. It's a level 3, now level 4 Clockwork. And I think in that sense, that trade doesn't feel amazing for Team God. The PA still lives. Mid 1 just TP's bot to keep farming up. He's already got the broadsword up, so he just lacks a Claymore and Voidstone for the Battle Fury. And once that timing's up, you feel a lot more secure on that PA. Unknown is getting some space out though. He has been left solo, so he's starting to catch up and farm. About to hit that early spike with that Echo Saber coming out. And it's at that point where the Slark can have some earlier impact. Good stats on hand, can kind of tank up, get some damage off with his Shadow Dance up, and you can kind of play quicker with Team God in that sense. They're still trying to commit up top as well, so they're looking for maybe a bit of a tower trade, shoving in with Zeal, Darley and Ray showing up as well. And that does make it obvious that 3 heroes are up though, so it opens up the map more for SMG to maybe look down bot or just keep pressuring mid.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That they will. Zeal, Darley, they're going to commit. They'll get the tier 1 tower, no issue. That Moon's rotated now. Ray, Zeal, you've got to be careful that Illuminate. It's going to do a lot of damage, but no, the Blinding Light. It knocks Ray away, but it just won't matter. KP, he had the control. Now Zeal, he'll be chased down into the forest, and Moon, well, you might spawn him out very soon as Arfu. He's going to get the stun off in time. Though mid 1, he does die to Unknown. So you got a great set of kills here in the top lane, but while that was happening, apparently Unknown solo kills mid 1.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for SMG. Very nice pick off for Team God. I think overall you're still happy on SMG's end as you hold off the push, although Raji,
he's going to drop the Tombstone, trying to turn back in onto this Invoker. They're not going to be able to get the kill onto Raji yet, but he's still very far forward. Very confidently moving. He'll salve up. I suppose he's almost trying to bait the mid to this Keeper of the Light, who, by the way, John, does go back for the 4-star. So I said Moon wouldn't bother doing this, but I suppose against the clock, against the Night Stalker, there's too much value in having the 4-star buff, and he does end up going for it. Ray, swap in, KP, he's got another great target, and that'll be a Clockwork gone. There's no real chance of survival here. They might get KP for the trade. Zeal has moved in, but Tornado does not land. They'll get the Earthshaker instead. Arfu, he's going to drop a Zeal. He's going to chase for a bit more, but KP, he'll land the magic missile. Unknown, he's moved in, but again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but against the Keeper of the Light, it's very hard to keep fighting.
Yeah, he just can't. He just can't. And they find a decent enough trade taking off that Earthshaker, but you can see how Unknown.
Yeah, you got to be careful. He has the Shadow Dance available, so he's feeling confident enough to kind of juke and jive his way out of that one. And that he will. But he's getting kind of cut off here by Arfu. Was not committed. He will now. The Echo Slam is there. Illuminate not going to land. Unknown, he is going to be able to get himself out. They're really making sure that Unknown, though, he does not feel safe anywhere across the map.
Yeah, I think that's key. As long as you prevent the Slark from trying to build up in terms of fights, in terms of farm, your PA will eventually eclipse him with a Battle Fury. So all you're doing is trying to stall out the Slark until your PA BF is up, and once that's up, you can kind of just ignore him. If the Slark wants to play a farming game, PA is going to win. If the Slark wants to fight early, he's going to have to deal with all of this AoE damage coming out from SMG. And he's going to have to make that choice. SMG, they're lining up for that bot tier 1 push. They've already lost their top earlier on, so they're going to even out that nap control. And with Avenge, it doesn't take too long with that added damage coming through. You can kind of just go for those trades, but Team God are smoking around here.
Yeah, but they are. Hookshot is going to be there. Roger, he's the one caught out. This shot, it's going to help a tiny bit, but Roger is dropping rather quick and is going to die. Ray, he'll probably go. In fact, he's just standing there hitting the Tombstone. He knows. Solar Bite is out onto the Invoker, so they've slowed him down quite a bit, and now Arfu will break the gap with the Fisher out, but where's your backup? Arfu, he's been left behind. He gets 4-staffed in by Moon, and then they just kind of run out of dodge. They just leave. SMG, just not 100% confident, losing 2 heroes for 1 again.
Yeah, lots of back and forth. Team God starting to find the angles here in the aggression. SMG, I feel like they might have been miscommunicating there. They didn't have Echo Slam up. If they did, that would have been a very big play 4 staff into 3 heroes, Echo Slam follow-up. There might have been enough damage there. They missed the mark a bit, and that was because they went for the Slark earlier on with that slam. So, not quite lining up. At the same time, Team God, they don't really have a lead yet. They've gotten a couple of kills. They've killed off, they've punished some of the supports. They killed off the PA twice. But the Battle Fury's up. And this is that timing we talk about. Now the PA can just avoid these fights altogether, play this farm game, and start to eclipse the Slark in a big way. For Unknown's part, he's going to have to start really kicking up in the aggression. He is rushing in SMY for some of that stat resist and some of those good stats on Agi and Strength. Once you hit that spike in the Slark, you do have more forward presence, but you're going to have to hold out against a Dagon spam now. Still, Team God are smoking up once more.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the crippling, or rather the ulti on the Night Stalker, so Zil definitely wants to keep fighting. That Dark Ascension just so powerful at the moment, especially with that bonus damage you do get. They're not going to find anyone, however. SMG going to hang out in that die triangle, and they are going to remain quite safe. Instead, they might head up top where Arfu now will reveal himself for that Fisher. He doesn't have a TP available for another 10 seconds. This should be a nice, easy kill. They do get the hook shot off with the Rocket Flare Vision, and Arfu, he's just trying to get that Blink Dagger up. He's not going to be able to get it anytime soon, though. On Ray, I mean, he should be able to get this kill. Sunstrike, not going to land, but now they've got the Spirit Vessel there. Arfu, he's definitely dead. There you go.
Yeah, it took a little bit more effort than you'd expect, but they do find a nice kill. It's a lot of heroes to commit, though. So the side of SMG's just all playing bot. They are getting the chase off with Unknown, though.
Yeah, Unknown. He'll chase down Rogi, but it's not going to amount to much. Rogi, he just walks away. Everyone's quite safe here. I suppose that on the brighter side, Zeal, he does kill the Dominated Creep, so he does get himself a nice bonus of 100 gold.
The red mist spreads
And
at
for the
Radiant's
side of Team
middle
God,
tower.
they are seem to hit some good spikes. I mean, Echo Saber on Zeal along with your Slark means that you do have some forward presence. BKB being farmed up as well. Mid 1 is being sneaky though, clearing out Ancients, but Ray spots him.
Yeah, not sneaky enough. Mid 1 now going to be in big danger. They've got the hookshot available. Rogi, you're not close enough, sir. Oh boy, and now Unknown, he's going to find mid 1. They get him with the Tornado and the Deafening Blast, and now Rogi to drop as well. Doing great work so far, finding these pickoffs for his team. Will now back off. The Moon, he has the Dagon up, but we haven't seen much of a use for it quite yet. Still the most farmed hero on the map, but he just needs to get a bit more active, and there we go. Solar Vine Dagon, instant death on Ray.
Yeah, you gotta love that. Magic resist down, damage goes up. You even have a Fairy's Trinket to give you 5% more spell damage as well. Very nice on Moon. Just gets everything he wants. Level 2 Dagon up now, so more pain coming out.
That's a big target. Highest net worth hero on the board, but he will force stuff out of the pounce. And well, now Rogi's going to cut Unknown off. Unknown, he's got a lot of stats stolen right now, but it may not matter as they're just surrounding this Slark. He's going to Shadow Dance and will just pounce away. Nobody dying in that little engagement there. A Team God doing very well thus far with this draft, but I do feel like as time goes on, things will get a lot more dangerous. And I just question whether they're taking enough objectives with these kills they're getting. Like right now, they've only gotten a tier 1 tower at the top lane. You really want to see that mid tier 1 drop. It's very difficult when you're playing against that Coddle to actually take down that mid tier 1 tower, but it looks like Zeal is going to get started now. And well, this is an objective that probably needed to go down about 5 minutes ago. You know, better late than never, I say, but it does feel a little bit late.
Yeah, they are smoked up behind on SMG. They're looking for the defense, but looks like they might not be able to make it in time.
Fisher doesn't land. Tier 1, yeah, it's just going to drop. They won't be able to defend, but maybe they can find a gank out of this.
Well, they don't really have the best targets to go for. They don't have the forward vision to spot the big cores. They could spot one of the supports. Darley and Ray are in the area.
Nice ward there by Darley. Gonna give all the vision in the world to try and juke them out. Instead, however, they found Ray. So you save one, you lose the other. Suppose POS 4 saved for a POS 5. Just a little bit more value there for Team God, but SMG, you know, they're just gonna keep rushing around with this Dagon. Level 3 now, plenty of damage flying out from Moon. he just wants to keep going. I mean, there's just such little downtime on this Dagon Solarbind combination. I just don't see why you bother stopping.
You got to play fast. You got to preempt the BKB timings. The Team God are trying to hit. Zeal is saving up for his BKB next. So once he has that, he's going to be very secure in the front line at least. It's only really him rushing that. And the rest of the heroes are sort of building up elsewhere. Like our Invoker is rushing the Ags. So you're going to have the Cataclysm up. You do have decent combinations to get that happening. Especially if you get a big cogs out from Ray. So the damage can start flying through. The spikes are lining up for Team God as well. But I think the big issue is, as it goes towards late game, it's not about the Coddle anymore. I mean, he still has impact once BKBs fade, but your issue will become the PA and Venge. They just have such great natural synergy with minus armor. Once this Desolator is up for mid one, I think you're not going to be able to survive the physical damage output that SMG has. And when it comes to team fights, they already have the Blink and Off. They've got a great way of Shaker.
On KP. They've also got the hook shot there onto Arfu, but now Roger's going to move in. Sunstrike is not going to land, and they'll turn back in onto Unknown, but he got the tarp packed off and barely survives the Dagon combo. Onto Dali they go. Zildo going to cut them off now with his own BKB, go right in onto the Coddle, but he needs some backup. Mid one, he's joined the fray. He's got so much damage with that Desolator. Zil barely going to be able to get out. They'll turn onto the Invoker instead, and they do get the kill. Wait, Roger dies for it, but it's more than worth here for SMG. And almost, I mean, Zil, he was so close to dropping on that Night Stalker. And they know he's going to go for a reset, so they'll go right into that Roshan pit. And this is not going to be a difficult Roshan to take.
Really quick for that Desert timing up and the Wave of Terror. They are still grouped around for this fight, though.
You've got to try, swap in. They've got Ray there on the clockwork. Well, he's gone. He's there for a second, but not for long. Buyback is out. They need Ray here just in case he could go for a steal. That buyback, it looks like it's going to be enough to force SMG out of the Roshan pit temporarily. While that Dagon's on cooldown, that is mid one. He's going to jump in. In fact, that was Arfu. Onto Dali, Unknown. He could try to fight, but he doesn't really have the greatest way out. We'll just pounce back up to the high ground of that triangle. It's back into the Roshan pit. Tornado is down. They've got the Tombstone out as well. Mid one, not going to get hit by the EMP. Unknown, he's got the Shadow Dance, so he's still playing with fire here, trying to delay this Roshan out. Roshan, about 2k HP away from dying now. Deafening Blast, not going to connect onto mid one. He'll keep up the good work. They need Ray there with the Rocket Flare, but the hook shot, he has no angle for it, so the Aegis is going to go the way of SMG. And Ray, he got blown up again by the Dagon.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Unknown, it's time to back, sir. That is not safe. It's not the area to farm in right now. Zil, he's forced the BKB out of the Soulbind and just run. The KP is on the chase with the level 2 swap. We'll swap Zil back in. He's out of BKB now. They got the disruption off, but is it going to be enough? They might be able to keep the push going. Zil, he's just trapped in. He wants to force stuff into the base, and he does get it. Unknown. He's going to come back in now. He'll try to go into KP, but the magic missile's there. He's been held down, and he gets crit to death. That was very wishful thinking there by Unknown. There's now 11. He's out of the Ghost Walk. Echo Slam is there as well. Arthur, he's going to hold Daryl down. Zil, he's going to move in though. They do at least get the Earthshaker, but it might cost him his own life. He'll try to chase down Moon on the Coddle, but he just can't catch him. Hookshot is there, Ray. He's got the big target Moon. He has no force stuff. They do finally burst down the Coddle, but Unknown, he's going to die back immediately on the slug. Can they at least get more? KP, he's going to drop it, looks like on the Vengeful. However, mid one, he's not done. He does kill off Dali. He'll lose his Aegis now. Ray, nice pushback with the cogs. Mid one, he's going to try and man up against Zil through this crippling fear. Rogi, oh, he soul rips the wrong target. It won't matter though. Zil, he does get mid one and Rogi down. So definitely a pretty nice team fight now for Team God, but they had to commit so many buybacks and diebacks for that fight.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I think it's it's a net positive for Team God, but it does set them back as well. Not having those buyback options means that if SMG do manage to find themselves in a good spot towards the high ground, find a couple of big pickoffs, you're not going to have that defensive option to buy back anymore. Respawn timers are going to be fairly short at that point though, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But you are finding that solution. The BKB from Zeal has helped a lot.
Yeah, you say that, John. He just lost half his HP. Moon. This chakra magic into the solar bind, it's just too much. Like, how can you just have so much cooldown reduction on a hero like this? And speaking of cooldown reduction, John, he's going for an Octarine core now. He feels like he doesn't have enough spells to spam out here, Moon.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Can't fault him. Why not? It's just so much value for the Keeper of the Light to keep spamming those spells out. You know, we're seeing the BKBs. It's helping out in Zeal. He's already down to a 7-second charge, and it feels like he just bought that BKB. So he's already down to 7. Once it's down to 6, and 6 seconds doesn't feel like it's enough time to fully isolate Moon every single time. Like, they did it once, they have to keep doing it over and over again, and we're shifting towards that point. We're seeing mid one do a ton of damage out. He's going to have his own BKB on the PA. So even if you start to build this answer for the Keeper of the Light, what's your answer for this Phantom Assassin? You don't have the Silver Edge up, you don't have Break on hand. I guess Demonic Purge will always be good, but outside that, you can't really man-fight the PA unless you somehow manage to land all your spells on, but the BKB makes that a moot point.
Absolutely. Now the BKB up on mid one, mid lane. They've got the Invoker. KP, he's there with the swap, and they've locked him down. Echo Slam even being committed, just in case. So it looks like they didn't really have the detection if we went into the Ghost Walk. That's fine. I mean, that's a big kill on the mid Invoker. And now Team God, I mean, they're still struggling. This draft, it wanted to take off about 5 minutes ago, and they kind of did that, but it's starting to fall quite flat.
Is under attack. Like that.
And it feels like at this stage, mid one, he's just going to start taking over on the PA. Already working on towards that Satanic. They're going mid tier 2. In fact, Dali, he stuck around. He'll blink out of it just in the nick of time, but Arthur, he'll land the Fisher, but there'll be no follow-up to it. They'll even be back into the tier 2 mid tower they go.
Middle tower is under attack.
They'll force the glyph and that'll be enough. It'll be into the Radiant Triangle now for SMG.
Radiant's top tower is
They've really got nothing to worry about though. I mean, I've seen a lot of Slark gameplay recently, and I just don't think it outscales a PA.
No, it really doesn't. Maybe if you manage to build up a lot of permanent agi stacks, you can feel pretty alright, but in terms of the itemization here, I mean, you can dodge out really well with this Ags build-up. You have a lot of pounces to play with, you have really good range, so you can always slip away, but you'll never be able to actually always fully commit in the man fight unless you've got the numbers advantage. So I think SMG always has something to play with. They do smoke up. I don't think they were caught on the edge of flare. They should have some good targets to go for if they want to.
They try the Invoker. They won't be able to yet. There is a smoke up. He's trying to catch somebody else to defend that tier 2 mid tower, but nobody's showing up. They understand that SMG probably a little bit too strong right now and just not to be fought into. It's like poor old Ray may get caught though as KP. He barely misses out with the Wave of Terror. It won't matter though because they found an even better target. They've got Unknown. Blinding Light is going to knock him back. He'll pounce towards the right, but now he's out of options. He'll Dark Pack to try and get the Soul Bind off. TP away. Fu, can you get the stun off in time? No. Didn't have the Blink, didn't have the Fish off. But I thought he was out of options, but it turns out he still had the TP ready to go. And nobody was around to cancel that off. But you see SMG, they're not really unmotivated here, John. They just smoke up and they'll go again.
Yeah, I think they just know. Like, even if you can't catch the Slark, the rest of the team's not really using that space well. Like, the top lane's being cleared out by Darley, which is nice to rush the Ags on the Shadow Demon, but it's still a support that's getting the farm instead of core. And the other cores are still starved out here on Team God. Zeal lagging 3k behind Moon. Everyone else about 4k behind. So there's a huge net worth gap between all of the cores except for KP's Venge. But KP's Venge doesn't need much. Like, Ags is up, so if he dies, he's got the illusion that he can still cast all the big spells, still get the control off, he's still got impact, and we're set to go. They are trying to shove in a top tier 2 though, and it is going relatively quick for Team God, so they might be able to find a nice tower trade at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as best as they can hope for right now on Team God's end, I think. Problem is, you look at mid one, he's running straight towards the double damage rune now. Doesn't really have a bottle for it, but it won't matter too much. I suppose on the brighter side for Team God, you do have Dali up now with the Aghanim Scepter, so he's got the 3 charges of Purge. And you can really just blow somebody up with that. It's quite a lot of damage. Is it going to be enough though? Tombstone dropped, hookshot is out. Ray, he's about to get blown up and does. KB immediately swapping out mid one. No risks being taken as unknown. He'll try to go after the tombstone, but they're just going to heal it up. They are not going to allow it to drop like that.
Radiant hides behind their fortification.
They do force the glyph out. SMG. They're not planning to back anytime soon, I don't think. More than happy to just keep this up. Unknown just copying a 1.2k crit. Dali gonna move in, but look at the amount of damage they've got. He does barely survive it. In fact, mid one, he does drop the Zeal. In fact, they go on to the Venge now. They've got KP down. I thought they wouldn't be able to fight, but they make it work. In fact, they go in for more now. Unknown into the backside onto Arfu. Hookshot is there. They've got rid of the keeper of the line. Arfu, he is very close to dropping, but no, they get the Unknown slug before he does go down. Moon, though, it's set to fall. It should eventually drop here. Blinding Light, Illuminate, trying to heal himself up a little bit. He's going to be able to get a bit of heal off, but eventually they will be able to surround him. Another swap out Moon. He doesn't really get out of this, does he? The heal? Yes. Oh, he's getting out. He is getting out. I thought the Spirit Vessel kills him for sure, but the Illuminate healed just in the nick of time.
That's ridiculous. Like, he was healing through the Illuminate, both in terms of doing damage and just standing in front of it, and it was just too much. Now, the Ags coming through from her Shadow Demon did provide enough. They managed to purge up the... Oh, wow. Unfortunate. KP respawned on his illusion. He wasn't safe, so he just dies in the middle of 4 heroes. But it's down to the Demonic Purge. Like, Darley setting up. Like, that has to go on to the PA every single time. Once it does, the PA is just a very easy target to go for. So they can just burst her down with no passive, no evasion up. And mid one did go all in on evasion as well. He went for that level 20 blur evasion talent. So they rely a lot on Demonic Purge. I think SMG now has to start thinking about the backline when they take these fights. They need to target that Shadow Demon first, prevent that Demonic Purge from flying out, and then you feel a lot more secure. So, really good fight coming out from Team God. Great high ground hold. They will go for a smoke play and look to punish some more here on SMG.
All right. Well, they're going to find Rogi. I mean, it's not quite the target they would have liked, but no, they find a second. They've got our food down as well, so definitely great news now for Team God, as that hook shot is really nice there by Ray. He even found the biggest target. He's got Moon on the coddle. And Unknown is there. They've got the Purge out with the Nullify. They've got so much control now. The Moon is going to drop. They even found a fourth target. KB, he was trying to be there with the swap mid one. He's going to jump in and try to force the fight. They'll try. Echo Slam's there. It's not going to be enough though. Unknown, he does make it out, but Zeal, he's going to drop on the Night Stalker, but Unknown. Look at the amount of damage this Slark is doing. So he is caught out. The damage was there, but it won't matter if you get stunned up like that. In fact, mid one, he is really starting to clean up now. Getting Ray on the clockwork. That's going to end up being a 3-for-3 trade, and it was such a great start for SMG, but turns out going for KP at the end does cost them.
Yeah, the big issue there was that Darley could not target out mid one by the time he showed up in that fight, so they couldn't get the Demonic Purge off. Mid one has... How much evasion do you actually have here? 80% evasion with that talent. So if you don't Demonic Purge him, he's just not going to die, especially with the BKB up. That will lead to the second Roshan, Ags and Ag Shard and Aegis down for grabs here. And if mid one wants the Ag Shard, that could be pretty nice in the PA. Those Fan of Knives is actually pretty strong. Like, it gives you break, it gives you a lot of good damage as well in an AoE. It gives more forward presence for mid one. And of course, the Aegis being on means that he's got security here for the high ground as well. So more opportunities here for SMG. Darley does have the protection of his Aeon Disc now, so even if he's jumped, he could still cast a couple of uses of that Demonic Purge before dying. That is going to be very impactful. He just has to find himself in the right spot to use that spell.
Oh, absolutely. SMG. It's been a bit of a back and forth game between these two, but both teams still giving it all they've got here. The best they possibly can. Onto that tier 2 top tower they go, mid one. We'll get started now. Teki is working towards a nullifier of his own, so getting close enough to have that up and available.
Radiant's top tower is under
mid one. We'll take the top tier 2, no problem.
Tower has fallen. Axe was not involved.
Sure, they want to go for that tier 3 tower, but they would have remembered what happened last time they tried that. If they're going to be a lot more cautious than last time around. They've also got to wait for Moon to make his way over. You know, he does run a 550 movement speed, so it doesn't exactly take very long.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Dali, oh, he's been noticed. Fisher's there, that's going to block him right in, and then Roger just goes, but he's got the blink tagger up. He's going to be alright. KB will be the one to front line. Spirit Vessel's going to be there with the cold snap, and you've got so much heal and sustain though. Makes it very difficult to actually go into KB. Chaos Meteor, no, swap out. KB, he's right in, but he's got the help of mid one to try and follow up. Ray is going to be in danger of the clockwork. Meanwhile, Zil on the backlights has actually got Moon on the Keeper of the Light down, and mid one, he's going to lose his Aegis. Ray, he does manage to survive as now mid one needs a way out. He will blink strike back towards the north, but Unknown is there with the pouncer. Now Zil is there with the crippling fear and the nullifier. Mid one, he's going to try and fight. Echo Slam is there. It's not going to do too much, but they've got the slug, or do they? Disruption is going to save for now as after he does drop. They do get the slug down. Unknown. He's going to drop. And Zeal, he's just doing such a great job with this Night Stalker. He'll find another target for his team. But now the nullifier out from mid one. He wants to go for a bit of a chase. He misses the Fan of Knives. KB with the illusion is still there to try and help him out. As Zeal, he gets crit. It's not going to be enough yet. Mid one, he might turn back in onto this Invoker, but no, he'll go back in onto the Night Stalker. And Zeal, well, he should definitely be dead. He does finally end up dropping. But it feels like this Night Stalker is pretty much the only reason that Team God is still able to fight, you know, on par with SMG.
Yeah, I think jumping Moon is really the biggest thing Zeal has to do every single time. So take out that Keeper of the Light. He has nothing defensive outside of his Force Staff, which you do mention gap close. He's gone, although.
Nice swap in.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Dali is the target here. KP still moving forward with that illusion. Mid one is there with the Fan of Knives that blow him up, but now Zil, he's caught back with the crippling fear. Mid one, he's going to be swapped back in, or rather around. They do kill off Ronchi, but now they'll move back in. Mid one, he's there with the blink strike. Ray, he's going to be all right. The Blade Mail does keep him safe.
For the Radiant.
At the top ranks, it won't be too safe. They do finally take it down here for SMG. Now they'll just go for a reset, wait for their respawn timers, and eventually just trying to make their way back up to the high ground.
Yeah, and they don't have Aegis, but they know that without the Shadow Demon up, mid one can't be stopped. So all they need to worry about is protecting Moon. He just needs to stay in the back line, and they can get the siege going. Like, it's going to be a bit difficult 4 versus 4. There are still options here for Team God, but mid one's just way too big to handle without that Demonic Purge up.
Oh, absolutely.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's
mid-rats
are under attack.
Slowly but surely dropping here. They've even got that Helm of the Overlord up now. Hookshot is there from Ray onto the bench. KB, he's just going to stand his ground and try to fight back. Disruption, Dali, he's got the PA in the backlines. KB is dropping and should finally drop, but he's got the illusion to rely on anyway. He's not going to be too concerned. Now, Unknown. Oh, that's a lot of damage on Unknown. He does kill off after, but is it going to matter? They're trying to man-fight this one out. Shadow Dance was there. Zeal with the crippling fear and the nullifier really going on to mid one, but the Satanic is going to buy him more time to try and fight back on this PA. Does he have enough? He'll go on to that Invoker mid one. He does kill off Zeal with the Fan of Knives, and it's back in onto the Invoker. The disarms were there. Hookshot is out. Ray trying to buy even more time. Mid one, he is still alive, but no. Eventually, he will drop to Ray on the clockwork. And it looks like they're going to try and hold KP down. No, they'll just kill off the illusion. So 2 racks is down. Team God, though, they are fighting back.
Yep, they're fighting out great, and they still are losing the objectives though. So no mid racks, no top racks, 2 lanes just constantly shoving in. There's still 2 tier 2s to defend SMG's high ground. They don't really have the creep wave shoved up the top. They might be able to find Raji at least.
Perhaps. Raji. That's a lot of damage in from Unknown. Decay gonna keep him alive for a little bit longer, but not too long. Even a nice tombstone there for Unknown on the way out. It definitely needs all the gold he can get at the moment on this Slark. Is he just almost 13k behind mid one's PA? But you've got to admit, I mean, all things being said and done, regardless of drafts, Team God, they're just doing such a fantastic job. And again, I've got to give the credit over to Zeal on that Night Stalker. Just really keeping his team in this game.
Yeah, he's just doing a lot of work jumping in. Getting control on the back line, preventing SMG from having that great sustain and damage with Keeper of the Light. He's trying to save for that BKB just to protect himself from that silence now. He's still trying to save up. Shouldn't take too long to build that farm up. I think once you have that BKB on the Keeper, the Night Stalker's impact might not be as big as it was in these earlier engagements. So Moon should be able to sustain his team, keep the damage flying through, and they can start to kind of just protect the PA. Right? Like as long as Moon is able to keep himself alive, then you only need to worry about the PA kind of having to deal with the demonic purges, dealing with like 2-3 years jumping on the PA. And if you can protect her, then you kind of just win out these engagements. As long as they don't get value from that demonic purge, you are pretty much good to go on that Phantom Assassin. Next Roshan, still 45 seconds until we see the respawn. So SMG, they might be just looking for that secondary life now before going for the final set of racks. We do have better map control to play with, so they can kind of just camp the triangle, keep that farm up. Although...
Moon. Pouncy is going to land for the second time. Unknown still going to work. Moon, he's just so fast though. He's going to run away. He's now Arfu. He's there with the Fisher. Unknown just trying to force as many rotations as he can get. However, mid lane, they've got Ray on that Clockwork, and Ray, he's been a real thorn in the side of SMG, but he's going to be able to get out another time. But no, not quite. Dagger is there with a critical strike, and that'll be enough. Back in onto the Night Stalker. Zeal, he'll be keeping up and turn back around now with the Crippling Fear. It's just so much damage, but Zeal now going to be swamped back in by KP. Will finally drop. No buybacks available. Onto the Invoker. The Dagger, no, it's not going to be enough. He's going to be alright, but it's a 2v5 scenario now, and SMG, they know the buybacks aren't there. They'll go straight into the T4 towers. Yeah, I mean, if you kill off Unknown here, it's basically game over.
Middle tower is under attack.
Starting up on mid one, just on the way. Echo Slam is there after a big one on the backside. They've got the Invoker and now Talon. He is sent to 4. Don't buy back immediately. Purges out onto the PA. Unknown. He's going to get right to work. He has not got any time to delay. The G4 towers, they're still going down. Ancient is exposed. Unknown, he'll pounce right in and go for the man fight. Leash is up onto mid one, but he's going to jump in on the Invoker instead. They've got 11 down. The Ancient's exposed. It's down to such low HP. Unknown, he's been trapped up as they let the creeps get to work, and that'll be game 1 going to the way of SMG. You know what, John? I do have to give props to Team God with this new roster. They made it look really good. Yeah, that first half of the game, it looked like it could go any way, and it...
Bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Kill! Axis pleased. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. The battle begins!